Hello, everyone. Here's Michael speaking from Graz, Austria. And I have the pleasure to introduce to you the Module 4 of the Met Reality Training Program. In this module, we speak actually, before we start with using VR in training, how do I know VR is suitable for me? I can use it in training. I will like it. And especially, how do I know if this is not the case? So let's have a look. Actually, perhaps this helps you with your considerations and preparation work for your VR training course. In this unit, actually, we want to give a brief overview of the items, frameworks, demands, criteria, etc. needed to be considered before starting with VR teaching. We want to raise awareness within different groups. You need to involve in the classroom, but also from your colleagues or your management. What are the requirements, the attitudes, the abilities of the different groups to bring in, so VR can be planned and implemented successfully. And last but not least, we want to enable educators, managers, trainers, social workers, to consider all necessary items and frameworks, and actually to prepare decently for VR learning sessions. Yeah, so let's go. Basically, our work, very much of our work, is based on the e-compendium we have developed in a previous step in our project. Some of you might know that we did a European survey within educators, experts in vocational education and training, persons who already apply VR in their teaching and training, and we asked them what they think, what are the most important frameworks which need to be given so VR can be implemented successfully in training. So we did a survey on that, we analyzed that, and from that actually we deducted 10 recommendations. And those these recommendations you can find in the compendium. Here you see, you can download it from the website. It's available in several languages. Just have a look. And anyway, I recommend with the training program always to have the e-compendium with you, because there is a lot of background information in there. So the first recommendation, actually, what we can give to you is, before you start doing anything in VR training course, buying any kind of equipment, working on curricula, just raise awareness and increase motivation within all persons which are involved. That this might be your fellow training colleagues, this might be your students, this could be the management, but also parents perhaps, in case they're involved. And please make sure actually they all know what you are doing. Make sure actually they understand why VR is useful in the training of the students. What are the benefits? Also, what are the disadvantages perhaps? Where are the chances? Where are the threats? And then actually make sure there is a certain amount of motivation within all parties involved to do such a training course. There is always more information in the compendium. As I said, we just actually in our recommendations, we just give a very short summary of what we found in our surveys. There is more information, the recommendations of the compendium. Please be so kind actually to look them up from page 22 onwards. So here's a recommendation, and what we provide you here is a kind of a checklist which you can use, where I said, does this recommendation on the left side, does it apply to me, to my situation? Is it already fulfilled? Okay, then I can forget it, it's done. Or do I have to work on it? Is it important for me? And if I have to work on it, is there, what is needed to be fulfilled? What is needed to fulfill this recommendation? And are there financial resources needed? What is the time you need for this? And is there anything else I have to consider? And also, how do you estimate the chances whether or not you can fulfill this recommendation completely, or actually to which level you can fulfill it. Because if there are many of the recommendations, you cannot fulfill it all. Yeah, you really should consider if it is really a clever idea to start with VR learning. Yeah, VR learning is a very good tool, but please be aware it needs a lot of preparation, and if you approach it professionally, no problem at all. But if you don't do it professionally and you don't prepare decently, you might get in trouble. So yeah, that's what we want to avoid. Yeah, and it's better actually to stop early enough. If you see this is VR learning is not for your setup, for your institution, your interests, it is not a clever, or it is not a suitable method, then it's better to stop early enough than actually to go on it, preparation work, and invest time, money, and then to find out that you're not really interested in VR in the way actually VR is at the moment. So what we do at the second recommendation we give is make sure you have appropriate equipment. That's very important. This is not only hardware and software, of course it is, but it's also internet connections. Anyway, be prepared that you have to invest money. You have to spend money on equipment. Nobody likes spending money on that, especially in the social sector and the education sector. People always, they intend to see it as loss, but in fact, it's not always a loss. Please think cleverly. Also, what could be the return of investment? What are the benefits? And perhaps by VR learning, you might save a lot of money, which you might have to invest to have the same effects as you can achieve by VR learning. Example given is you can make fantastic trips. You can see very exciting natural or cultural sites. You can visit many places in the world, and you get a first idea how these places look like. And you save a lot of money in traveling, for example, to see these sites. Of course, it's always better to see them in nature or in real. But at least actually you have a basic idea about these sites when you use VR, and this really you can afford this kind of traveling by spend little money. So the next recommendation. Oops, sorry. No, here hardware. We spoke about spending money. Of course, everybody always likes to save money as good as possible. Please do not save money here investing in the hardware. Hardware is not that expensive anymore. VR hardware, you get really decent stuff from a few €100 upwards. So with 300, 400 euros, you get already really a basic headset, and which is really you can have a look in the other modules where we introduce the hardware. Please have a look there. So it's not, you don't spend fortunes anymore, but you have to be you have to be prepared that you have to invest a few €100 at least. And of course, there are cheaper solutions with €100 or even below, but they are really not. You can use them just to test it, to have a look, but the effects are not very good. The graphic design is not very good. So the learning impact and effect is also not very high. So please actually do not save money here. You will regret it. Please also consider the health issue. Their headsets might, if wearing headsets for a longer time, there might be problems with your neck. Some people complain that they get headache. Some others said they get dizzy. It is not the majority of people, but still, if you have a group of people, especially if they're younger, please consider there are no negative effects on their health, physically, but also not mentally or psychologically. Yeah, especially if the learners are younger, they are not very good by distinguishing between virtual reality and reality. So also here the visual effects might have a negative impact. So just in case, make sure the learners are prepared for that. Everybody is healthy and safe for wearing this in wearing this equipment. Speak perhaps to a doctor, a psychologist, or to the parents to make sure actually here everybody feels well and safe. The wet trainer, of course, is always a crucial figure, like always in training. Of course, it comes down to the wet trainer. Please have a look. Please make sure the wet trainer is well prepared. Give the wet trainer enough time, enough money to prepare him or herself. It is very important this person is well educated in not only in the content of the training, but also in using the techniques. It's not very complicated anymore, but still it takes training. And most of all, make sure that the person you select or the person who wants to do it is really motivated and really engaged and is really convinced that this method is of advantage in the training. Otherwise, if the person is not convinced, just leave it or take another one. Be prepared. Yeah, it's like in a magic trick, magic tricks, they look also easy and everybody thinks there is that it's just easy doing them, but it's not. All the work is behind. It's the same with virtual learning. Everybody sees only persons wearing glasses and then they have nice, they are nice virtual realities, but this is just one thing of it. There is a lot of work around, a lot of preparation work for the techniques, from the didactic preparation, from the learning, the learning itself. It does not only happen because you look at the virtual reality. Yeah? So you really have to prepare. You have to select decently hardware, decently software. You have to select a good group, the size of the group. You have to be prepared for any kind of technical breakdowns or problems. So you need IT staff perhaps to support you there. So be prepared and also take it serious that there is some work behind everything. Also, it makes fun and it's very impressive, but still it is work. Then when working with SEN students, with special needs, please be aware that VR learning requires certain intellectual, psychological, motoric, and sensory and other prerequisites. It is from different levels. Actually, there are challenges and which have to be tackled from users. And here, please make sure that any kind of persons with a special need actually receives this special need. Yeah, that it is actually more up to you actually to even more put more work on that to making this kind of learning available or accessible for persons with special needs. Of course, actually, it is a fantastic tool for everybody. And also, of course, for students with special needs, but there might be some considerations actually you have to take to do. Well, small is beautiful. We know that, but it is especially for this training course. And this does not only go for well, we speak about from the learning content, of course. There actually don't take too much learning content at once. Usually a training session should not last longer than 15-20 minutes. After this time, one gets really tired in wearing the headsets. So there should be short learning sessions, and the learner groups should not be too large, especially if you only have 1 or 2 headsets and you have a group of 10 people. The others, they just watch people wearing headsets, and they cannot do anything. So it is a little bit, it's really, it's smaller working groups are really better suited for VR learning. Even if you have headsets for each of the learners, it is fine if you have it, but also there actually, if there are many persons with the headsets on in one room, there is a lot. It's very dynamic then in the room, and if there are too many people in the room, actually, this is also it might lead to a lot of troubles and accidents. So keep it small. It's okay. Well, concerning WBL based learning. So work-based learning, there are a lot of apps out there. We will have in the second unit of this module. We have a look at apps. Not for all. There are a lot of professions. They are supported by VR learning apps, but please be prepared that not for each single profession there is a lot of material there, and perhaps it is in an area, even also it's in your profession. It's perhaps not in the sector you are interested. So you have to look whether or not there is really some app produced already for you. It is more easier if you work with transversal skills and competencies, for example, language skills, speaking in front of groups, organization skills, calculation skills. These actually, there are a lot of apps there. They aim on this more transversal level, and there, of course, also people, also in work-based learning, these apps can be used. And last but not least, because we speak also about mobility, of course, VR is perfect for mobility issues. I already explained, raised the issue before that you can, without leaving your chair, you can visit the Colosseum, you can dive in the ocean, you can climb the Rocky Mountains. This is fantastic. It's good experiences, but also there, please be aware that just seeing it, yeah, just being in the room, in the virtual room alone, is not really learning. Yeah, so of course it is. There are certain learning effects, but please be prepared. If you do that, you have to put more pedagogic and didactic know-how and work in there, so that you have really learning effects. But of course, especially for traveling or for mobility, VR apps are very good, because many of them, there are many on the markets. Well, these were our 10 recommendations, but of course you can, please feel free to add someone from yourself, which are perhaps suitable for your special situation, for your institution, the target group you're working with. You can use the form on the right-hand side to discuss this with your colleagues. It gives a good overview, actually, this form, what is needed, whether or not the recommendation is appropriate for you, what is needed, what is still missing, and whether or not it really can be achieved until the end. And this is very important. Yeah, so, well, this is finished. Very good, I think. I hope if you consider these recommendations, I think you're pretty much already on the safe side, in a very good way in preparing your VR learning sessions. There is one exercise more, actually, I might suggest you can do on yourself. I would like actually to do together with you to create a mind map. You can do it yourself too. You can do it on paper, but you also can do it on online. You know, there are a lot of these online tools around. I just use one. I do apologize, it's in German, but I didn't want to make any kind to advertise any of the English ones. So that's why they all work the same. They're open source, you can use them. And then actually it works like a normal mind map, and you can start filling in it and say what is needed for using VR in my teaching. And then actually you can make topics like, say, okay, what is needed? Technical equipment, of course. You need trainers, teachers. You need, what else do you need? You need, for example, IT stuff in the back office. You need, oops, oops, we did here actually. The IT stuff actually could be in-house or external, so it depends on you a little bit. And you can say here, from here it develops and develops. Here can we have here internet there, and we need hardware, and so on and so on. And you can, and this can grow and grow. So please feel free, sit together with colleagues or yourself or in teams and make a mind map, what you need, what is in your special situation needed for starting with VR, in which dimensions you can think. And this also might help you to prepare decently what is needed. Then you can make a checklist and say, this is done, this I need to buy, and so on. I have already we prepared ourselves our own. This also I might support you. This is our mind map. We already did one for you. It might be a suggestion. Here we see we also consider the legal dimension, technical issues, learning materials, content, awareness and motivation, health issues, knowledge, skills, competences of all parties involved, the special focus on mobility. Here you might find a lot of inspiration also to do for yourself. You can have a look if your mind map matches with ours, what you have considered we have, and vice versa. So please feel free to use it and for preparing your courses. Well, that's it. That's the end of unit 1. Thank you very much for listening. I hope it is of some help for you for preparing your courses. And well, I hope I see you in unit 2, which we speak about special apps we selected for you, and we introduced to you a bunch of 20 best practice examples, which actually might also give you some inspiration, which apps to use in your training. Okay, I see you. Bye-bye.